Alright, and welcome back to my YouTube channel for anybody who's following my progress on this MacBook Model Revision A repair. So last time I left off, I just went ahead and described what I'd done, spray painting it, and we put our 4 mounting screws in. Now we are actually ready to take our screen and attach it via our hinge to our actual case itself. So bring your case in here, set it down like so. I recommend having something to lean it up against so that you can line it up, or if you do not have the room, you can always do it like this. There's a few different ways. So what you want to do is move this out the way, move my screws forward there. Alright, so you want to go ahead and line up your cables. Make sure your cables feed through. If you look on the back here, there's a small channel, and I've gone ahead and used on a previous install, I went ahead and used a bunch of electrical tape, or it's liquid electrical tape, to attempt to create a better seal in there. That's what all that green is. But you can see that the cable feeds down through the channel, as well as this one feeds down through the channel. You just want to make sure those are in there on that side and on this side, so that they don't get pinched. See that right there? When you actually put your screws in. So that's one thing to look for, to make sure of. So, double checked, mine seems to be lined up. Okay, now you guys can see here, right here is the actual cable that connects the screen, and sometimes, which in this case it's being kind of a pain in the butt, so if you want and you're having problems getting this to connect right here, you can connect this first and then slide it into place. Just be careful, you don't break or damage the cable. I recommend using a small screwdriver, and you just have to ever so gingerly adjust the cable and push one end in, push the other end in, just ever so slightly, and this one is just resisting just a bit there. Oh, and there we go. So that went in and should fit right along there and sit right into the slot, so that you can go ahead and put your mounting screws in. So, next step I'm going to do here, just reassuring that that cable's in there. If your screen has garbled lettering, it's bouncing all over the place, but you put your new screen in and it's still all garbled up and you're like, what is going on? There's a really good chance that that cable's been damaged or destroyed in some way, shape, or form. Always inspect your AV cable before going out and purchasing a new screen. I have done this before, where in my repairs I've came across a client came in complaining about how the screen wasn't working and she needed a new screen. She had already purchased one online and just asked me to repair it, and I ended up telling her that, hey, your screen is perfectly fine. We ended up just needing a cable, which I had a spare, and she was able to return the monitor. So just to save yourself a little time and a little bit extra money, always check that AV cable as a sure bet, a surefire way to eliminate spending a little extra money. So alrighty, well, now we're going to go ahead and put our case screws in here, line this baby up, and we should be good to go. Again, using Loctite, we want to make sure that we secure these down, so I'm going to go ahead and just put 2 of these in here for you to see, and then I'm going to go and grab my Loctite and put the rest of them in. So, as you can see, as I'm doing this, I'm checking to make sure that these cables are secured down in there. Doesn't feel like anything's pinching. It doesn't feel like anything's out of skew. I'm just going to go ahead and put all 4 of them in for right now so that I don't damage it, and I'll take them back out later. Put some JB Weld in, or some thread lock in them. A little pile dried up here. Alright, so now, like I was talking before, take this little tiny screw here that's got the bevel on it, and this bevel screw, if you notice, it's kind of got small thread and then a little area that is not threaded that has a little wider surface area, circumference to it, and that's to sit down over. And this one goes right here, attaching your AV cable. See if I can get a little better light here. Attaching your AV cable to your actual rear frame itself. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but hopefully you can understand what I'm talking about. Now this one you don't have to worry so much about using thread lock because it's not a weight bearing or load bearing. But you know, if you wanted to be anal about it like I am, I'll probably take it back out when I'm done with the video and just re-Loctite it just to be sure. Ah, there we go. I completely forgot my light there. No wonder you guys couldn't see. So alrighty, so just to do a little recap, I went ahead, I put my 4 hinge screws in there. I got my nice new painted back screen. I got my new LCD screen installed with my 4 screws, and all that's left is to feed this wire around. So we'll go ahead and take a little tiny flathead screwdriver, and there's a little channel that you'll see that's kind of grooved into the framing that we removed in the earlier video, and all you got to do is just ever so lightly tuck this baby up under there, and it should just pinch right nicely up in there. You can see the way I'm doing it here, just kind of fold it up under the little lip that's supplied there from the case. Come around to the top and feed it back in, feed it back around the curve, up and over. And once you get it to the top, there's another lip like it was on the side, which is usually the difficult part to get. You want to make sure you're really careful not to pinch your cable too while you're doing this. So there we go, that's all fed up in there. And you just give that a little twist. And plug in your camera cable like so. And we're done. So kind of tuck this a little bit here. Somehow we got some extra slack. Need to take out here. Interesting. Well, apparently somehow my cable is now longer than it was before, but no matter. We'll get that stuffed under there one way or another. There's a few different ways I can feed that to make sure that it's actually where it's supposed to be, but for the most part we should be good. Again, do the same thing over here. Feed this guy around. Use your little screwdriver to press it into the groove. Feed her up along the outer edge. It's in there ever so nicely. Make sure you get your little donut ring here pushed back onto your, and there you go. So now you have your microphone successfully installed. It's tucked back up under the case frame there. If this is sticking up a little bit, you can always use just a little dab of super glue to hold it into place, but it for the most part should stay in there. If it's not, try rerouting it and spinning the cable a little bit. Sometimes a twist will cause it to pop out a little bit more than it should, but for the most part, there you go. So there we go. Once you get those cables all fed in, you got a couple more screws you got to take care of. One down here, again, it's another tiny screw. This one's not beveled, so this is how you can tell. These are for securing the screw right up on the other side of the hinge, so that when you're opening and closing your case, that wire isn't going back and forth inside that hinge and damaging it or cutting it off, causing it to be damaged or cut off, excuse me. So, get this other one in here. And just a little bit more adjusting with this cable on that side just to get that one right. But now all you got to do is take your new screen or your new outer rim and just either stick it or glue it or place it however you want back on your Mac, and remove your screen. Wait for the noise. Deep breath, deep breath. Do we see an apple? And come on. Apple. Alright, there you guys go. Successfully changing the screen and repairing a damaged case. Now I have a very, very nice black topped MacBook. Bottom's still gray, but hey, you know what?